Yo, yo, yo. Salute, salute, salute. Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon. Good evening, wherever you are in the world. Which way do I want to go? Snapzilla Gorillas in the building, y'all. Hitting y'all upside the head with this morning paper as I get my ruck on, y'all. As your boy gets his ruck on, we're gonna have this conversation. Because I ain't forgot, never forget, 2021, when they rolled out, the software, as they call it, as they rolled out this new medical intervention to prevent you from contracting the SARS-CoV-2, right? Well, at first, they said it was gonna stop you from getting the SARS-CoV-2. But when we find out that it doesn't do that, they told you, well, it's gonna help keep you from being hospitalized. And it's gonna help stop you from being severely sick from the SARS-CoV-2. But then when they discovered, well, that's not the case either. What did they tell you? Oh, well, it's gonna stop you from spreading the SARS-CoV-2. And when they found out that that didn't work, what did they tell you? Well, they didn't tell you shit, did they? Because these people, they aren't held accountable. So they can tell you whatever they want. But we're gonna get into this. Salute to Darren C. Williams in the building. Dropping a link to the study I'm talking about. To the book I wrote, The Seeds of Dark Matter Disease. Right there on Amazon, y'all can go cop that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get the hard copy. I think it's about 15 bucks. You can get the ebook, which is about $4. Or if you got Kindle, you can get the book for free. So you ain't even got to pay for the book. I do want as many people to read as possible, though. You know what I'm saying? Because more books in the works as a part of that universe. I'm finishing up the second book right now. Could have finished it a long time ago, but, I took a break from writing. But the juice is still flow, y'all. So help your boy out. Go get the book. Leave a review. 2020 and 2021 and 2022. It's important to understand what that kicked off. What did the COVID-19 pandemic kick off? It kicked off a lot of things, right? And it told our government a lot about our resolve and what we're willing to accept in the name of public safety, in the name of public health, because they say, right? They told us they had to lock us down, right? 14 days or 15 days to stop the spread, right? Right? They told you about social distancing, right? Oh yeah, you gotta be 6 feet apart. They told you that you had to wear masks, right? That the masks help you from spreading the Model-19. They told you it stopped you from contracting the COVID-19. This is what they told y'all, right? And now I can openly talk about it because apparently YouTube, well, they're done with censoring people in regards to COVID-19, are they not? So they say. Salute to everybody that's coming through. Patrice X30, salute to you. Yes, getting in the morning ruck, right? I wanted to get out here earlier, but you know, Darcy Williams, they told these, right? They came up with all this data within weeks. Because remember, what did the infamous or famous Anthony Frosty initially tell you about wearing masks? They don't really work like that. He told you the masks do not do anything. He told you, you know, that asymptomatic people, right? Asymptomatic people. Morning. Asymptomatic people. Well, if you're asymptomatic, you're not going to be a significant driver of spreading the disease. This is what they told everybody. I called bullshit from the very beginning. I saw the nonsense. It just didn't make sense. Where are they getting these numbers from? Where are they getting this 6 foot? Where are they getting this idea about the face flag stopping anything, particularly a virus? Particularly when they tell you, oh, if you wear a cloth mask, that's okay. If you wear a painter's mask, that's okay. If you wear an N97 or whatever you call it mask, oh, it'll stop it. But hell, 97 mask, well, that was designed for tuberculosis, right? To stop tuberculosis. Well, tuberculosis is a bacteria, which is significantly larger than any virus. So how is it going to stop a virus? It doesn't. They fed you guys, well, they fed everybody a whole line of BS. Nobody said it will stop it. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They told you you had to wear the mask to prevent you from spreading the disease. Yeah, they said that the mask stops it from the inside of the mask. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they told you that. Now we're going to lie about, come on now. Come on now. See, many of you, good morning. Many of you were not, many of you did not know about my channel back then. Oh, yes, they did. They told you that it will stop it. Yes, they did. Knock it off. Knock it off. Yeah, they said it will reduce the spread. Yeah, they said it will stop the spread. They told you 15 days to stop the spread. They told you the masks will stop it from coming out and going to someone else. That's how they justified forcing you to wear the mask. Come on, y'all can't do this to me. Yeah, I was here for everything. Tammy Shores keeps saying no. Okay, well, you just saying no emphatically does not, no. It does not mean that you're right. Repeating the word no, as Darcy Williams, did they not tell us that the mask will stop you from spreading the disease? Yeah, because I was able to give people information that prove the mask reduced nothing. Yeah, I was here for that. I gave you guys a lot of information. Yeah, you got to hear it because you fell for it. You fell for it. Y'all fell for it. Y'all went and got the jab. Y'all did all these things they told you to do with no proof. The mask, it stops particulate matter. Yes, a mask can stop particulate matter, but not a virus. The particulate matter that it does not stop are viruses, particularly not cloth masks, particularly not painter's masks, not even N95 masks. They'll stop particulates, but not viruses. Yes, you couldn't even sue them. Exactly. Now, I recall, yes, go check out the links that Darius C. Williams is dropping. I recall showing you guys how in New York, since you want to say that the mask helped greatly, well, I'm going to talk about that right now. Well, in New York, right, over 90% of people hospitalized with COVID-19 always wore a mask. Oh, what was it? Over 90% of people hospitalized with COVID-19 in New York always wore a mask. Oh, what? What was it? Hello. 4%. 4% of people hospitalized with COVID-19 for COVID-19 in New York never wore a mask. Yes. Someone says their Francisca Cercelli says her mom passed away from COVID-19. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Yes. Did people die from COVID-19? Yes. 6% of the people that died with COVID-19 died from COVID-19 alone. I showed you guys that as well from the CDC. 6% died as a result of COVID-19 alone. The rest had comorbidities, were shot in the head, died in car accidents, did not die from COVID-19. They just had COVID-19 when they died. And what did they tell you? Anyone that died from any cause, it doesn't matter what the cause of death was. If they had COVID-19 when they died, they would count it as a COVID-19 death. Oh, y'all don't remember that? Oh, where was y'all at? Were y'all born in 2022? Y'all were not paying attention? Did we not have YouTube and different platforms where people were talking about these things? Didn't they deplatform people for talking about these things? They gave me multiple strikes for bringing you guys information that anyone has access to. Information from the state of New York. Information from the CDC. Oh, you remember. The hospital will receive $4,000 for every COVID. Well, yes. No, they were different. They received different payments for whatever they were in there for, right? So those who had to end up in the ICU got a certain amount. For those who ended up on a ventilator, they got even more, the hospitals. And those that died on the ventilator got even more money. So the hospitals were being paid for every single death from COVID-19 that anybody had by the Medicaid and Medicare. You know, the same social program that we also love, that we feel like shouldn't go away. Yes, these hospitals and clinics get funding for Medicare and Medicaid and all this other stuff for people being sick. Yes, the same social programs we want to use. Oh, universal health care. Who do you think is going to handle that? The same people that paid the hospitals for every COVID-19 death, for every COVID-19 victim that ended up on the ventilator. Hello. They didn't pay them for saving lives, for saving the lives of individuals with COVID-19. No. No, they got the regular schmegular shit for that. No, they wanted the boost, didn't they? Did they not? Wow, so maybe the hospital shouldn't be for profit. Well, let me tell you something. Why shouldn't they be for profit? They just had to be for profit for the right things. Because You don't think there's money in prevention? You don't think there's money in giving people information on how to stay healthy and how to not end up in the hospital and be sick? Oh, there's money in that. Just look at the fitness YouTubers. They make a lot of bread telling you how to stay fit and how to get fit, right? They get paid just for showing you some exercises and telling you what you could and could not eat to be healthy. Salute to Black Spring with Autumn in the building. Salute to the Queen. She says now Walgreens is offering, excuse me, the Sting for 20% off. I'm assuming you're talking about the flu vaccine. So I'm gonna say it because I'm testing YouTube to see if they're really gonna allow us to use free speech. I'm not using code words no more. We'll see if that holds up. Yeah, we're talking about the flu vaccine. That Jim. See, we don't want to talk about these things because, y'all want to come at me and tell me that the mask worked. The mask did not work. As a matter of fact, according to that study that was done in New York, it would appear that wearing the mask made it worse. Why? Because, well, the human body in regards to oxygen intake is not a closed system, it's an open system, right? Well, when you put that mask on, you're creating a closed system. Your body filters out things, right, at the best it can. Now, when they spray all the things in the sky, right, when they spray the bullshit in the air, I mean, is that good for your for your system? No, it's not. Oh yeah. There, C. Williams is dropping links in the chat, y'all. Yes, go grab you a copy of the book. Y'all can get it for free on Amazon if you have Kindle. Go check that out. Francisca Cercelli says, my mom called the day she got on the vent. How can someone talk a couple hours before going into ICU? That's a great question, Francisca. I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry that happened to your mother. But that is the story of a lot of individuals who ended up in the hospital who were feeling just fine. They just had flu symptoms. And of course, the fear campaign that that our illustrious, benevolent government pushed, it drove a lot of people to the hospital who would otherwise had toughed it out at the house, right? Like I did. In that November, December 2019, I was very sick, right? I thought it was the flu. You know what I'm saying? I was sick for a long time. Like, I was laid up for 7 days. And even after I went back to work, boy, was I dragging ass. I did not feel good at all. Mikey says, nope. Majority of health insurance is the private sector. What am I wrong about, Mikey Mike? Health insurance. Right now, I'm referring to the hospitals and the clinics. That's what I'm referring to. There are a lot of private health care facilities, but they get funding from the government. They get money from the government. So, what does that mean? Well, a lot of these hospitals and a lot of these healthcare facilities, as Derek C. Williams, he's in healthcare. Most hospitals receive funding from the United States government. Well, where are they getting these funds from? From the people, right? From the taxpayer. From the extortion victims. So, when you are in a private sector and you get government subsidies and government incentives, and you lobby in Congress to get your way, I don't consider you to be a private sector. No. What you are is a corporate welfare recipient. So, these health insurance companies that get legislation passed on their behalf so that they can make the maximum amount of profit and get the least amount of taxation, yeah, they aren't private any longer. They're corporate welfare recipients. Big pharma, big insurance, big hospital. They lobby in Congress to get their way. They are included and they are involved in the government legislative process. They are the fourth or fifth branch of government, unofficially. So yeah, you can miss me with that private sector bullshit. Yeah, miss me with that. You got me fucked up. That's dumb and crazy, says Khalif Dumb. Khalif Dumb says that's dumb and crazy. What's dumb and crazy? Okay, you know what, you scatter some great points in it. I love when y'all do that. I love when y'all do that. Yesterday, somebody was telling me that I was saying nothing that was factual. Nothing I said was factual. That's what the dude yesterday said. And then, when I repeated what I said, which was all factual, he said, oh, well, the last sentence you said was not factual. I love when y'all do that. It's okay. See, I can stand on what I say. See, that's why y'all can't catch me up. I can stand on what I say and articulate why I say what I say. It's okay. Go ahead and challenge me. I love being challenged. PCR test investor Carrie Mullis, is it? Yes. Oh, there's a lot of things at play. There were a lot of things at play during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yes. I scattered some good points here and there, huh? Well, no one's going to get it all right all the time. Guy says it's factually a lie. What's factually a lie? What I got in the LBV? Nothing really. I just need somewhere to carry my water, you know, and my keys and stuff. I never say anything good, says Rusty Dims. I don't? Okay. I don't provide solutions to the problems we're facing? Okay. If that's what you want to believe. But you're right here in my comment section. You're right here in my chat room. You know, you're encouraging the lack of good things that I say. You're encouraging it. But thank you. Yes, hit the like button. All you gotta do is tap the screen. Double tap. Why are you in my house? Because you wanted to be here. Sade Armad says it's all love. Yes. What I'm doing is pointing out that this big lie, this big COVID-19 lie, well, it wasn't just a lie, right? It wasn't just a lie. They performed a lot of atrocities. Our government, other governments, committed a lot of atrocities based on these lies, right? To justify the atrocities, you know, they use these lies. And right now, we are seeing what we're seeing with these studies, because I told you guys about the Japanese studies a couple months ago. These are alarming facts based on a lie, based on, you know, based on a lie. And these have lasting consequences, right? These were atrocities committed by our governments that led to a lot of loss of life, right? I talked about before, you know, excess deaths as a result, simply to the response our government had to COVID-19 that had nothing to do with anybody having COVID-19, right? But don't worry, I have the study right here. I'm going to give you some numbers. It's going to be a head scratcher, right? Because the big lie was, it started with 14 days to slow the spread or curb the spread, stop the spread. Yet it didn't get curved, did it? It didn't stop, did it? No. It turned into an entire year, damn near. It led to hundreds of thousands of business closures. It led to countless of lives lost because of the fear porn, because of the mass hysteria, you know, that led to all the drinking and all the drug abuse, spousal abuse. Child suicides shot up. Child suicide went up. You know what I'm saying? My little nephew, well, they believe he took his own life. I think it might have been something else, but happened during that period. Listen, when our government, which so many people believe in, does things like this, it has so many effects on us that we can't even begin to realize until we take a step back and look, and we go back and look. During and after. First, you got to go before. Well, what was happening before? Right? You had a certain amount of deaths. You said you had a certain amount of certain things that occurred. Child suicide. You look at the number of people. You look at all these things. And then you introduce all the things that they introduced. The 6-foot rule. The mask. People driving in their car by themselves wearing a mask, y'all. This is psychological. There's something wrong psychologically with a person that would wear a mask in the car by themselves with the windows rolled up. You saw it. It's psychological. You're not going to catch anything in the car. There's something, it says something when they tell people, when you go into a restaurant, you have to wear the mask. But you sit down, you can take the mask off and start eating. But when you're not eating, you better have the mask on. Help me understand. See, there's something psychological. See, it was a psyop. It was a test. How far can we go with these mandates? What will they comply with? And unfortunately, the test involved, right? It resulted in a lot of loss of life that was not necessary. Hold on, I gotta adjust my straps. The loss of life that occurred as a result of all this stuff, even before the vaccines were introduced, a year later. Think about that. Think about that. Leave brother alone. I got you, fam. What happened? You know, people gonna talk shit. It's all good. That's not before stupid. What are you talking about? Damn, you are wrong. Says, I usually agree with you, but I gotta disagree with you on this one. All right, what do you disagree with? What's your disagreement? What's your disagreement? Jackie Gigliotti says, this is horrible. I can't even watch the news anymore. Well, the key is to have discernment, right? You want to know what they're putting out, right? Just because you know it's propaganda doesn't mean you shouldn't see what the propaganda is, right? You should know, right? So that you can be informed about what your enemy is doing. It's always good. I think the loss of life would have been greater if we didn't slow down. Slow down what? Damn, you wrong. Slow down what? Didn't you hear what I said earlier? Slow down what? Nothing was slowed down. Nothing they did, none of the things that they told us to do slowed anything down. The mask, the social distancing, lockdowns, none of that stopped anything. They told you to do all those things to prevent death from a bug they never isolated. They didn't go through the postulates, Koch's postulates, which, some, they don't use Koch's postulates anymore because they want to be able to tell you that certain things cause disease that they can't prove cause disease. But they didn't do anything. They didn't prove anything. They made it up. They told you that. The 6 feet, they made it up. They were going to say 3 feet at first. They made it up. It was arbitrary. And they said, no, we can't do 3 feet. That's not realistic. Let's do 6 feet. They made it up. Those masks they told you to buy, well, on the box it tells you it's not going to stop you from contracting or spreading any disease. Then they told you can wear a cut-up sleeve. You can cut a sleeve up and put it over your face, and you're going to stop somebody from getting sick. But when you talk to them and you smell their badass breath, you think that you think it's stopping a virus? You know how much bad breath I smelled? People wearing these damn masks? Get the fuck out of here. It slowed down nothing. You know what it did? So you slow down the deaths. You slow down the possibility of someone dying from a disease, but you create more death from the overreaction to the disease being introduced into the public. So the loss of life that occurred, that I told you guys was excess deaths, had nothing to do with people having COVID. Nothing to do with it. A very small percentage of people that died that are a part of this excess death numbers was from COVID. 6% of the people that died from COVID directly. 6%. The rest had comorbidities and died by other ways. It slowed down nothing. What? It didn't slow anything down. I think the loss of, that's crazy. Derek C. Williams says no one questions the lab leak. Well, of course it was a lab leak. They had to admit that as well. Why? The NIH, our NIH, was funding, at the behest of Anthony Fauci, was funding gain-of-function research that created COVID-19. COVID-19 is a bioweapon. Yeah, they had to admit that as well. Do you see what I'm getting at? They told you it was a wet market. Oh, it came from a bat. Someone ate a bat at a wet market and got COVID. Y'all. It was, someone says, Cans Dre. I know who you are. I know who you are. You're a Cans Dre is a 100% troll, a knockoff pity pat ball licker. Now he's in my chat talking shit. Well, I tell you what, Cans Dre, holla at your boy. Holla at your boy. So you can call someone a beta, but it's one thing to actually prove it in their fucking face. But it's okay. Steve Smith says POS. Man, you shouldn't project like that. If you feel that way about yourself, have a conversation with someone that loves you. George Houston says he was in the ICU's witnessing all this. What did you witness? Tiger Rebellion says, don't forget all the online censorship. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, the online censorship. It was a testing ground for that as well. See, COVID-19 was the biggest psychological operation ever. And it told our government a lot of things about us. And the excess deaths that occurred from that, well, that's just collateral damage, right? Because even Madeleine Albright told you. Madeleine Albright, you know, the former Secretary of State, who told you that the sanctions that government placed on countries that resulted in the 500,000 deaths of children was worth putting those sanctions on those countries. Yeah. He told you that. Our government does not care about the sacrifice. They will sacrifice your life, your child's life, and whoever's life to get what they want. And what they wanted at that point in time was to introduce this disease, right? They introduced this disease into the public, right? Which really amounted to, it was a pussy lip, right? Did people die from it? Sure. Did people die with it? Absolutely. At first, I didn't think that it was even real. I was like, nah, they just making this shit up. But, you know, it turns out it was. But it also turns out it was created in a lab, and it wasn't as dangerous as people thought it would be, or thought it was, right? My whole family was vaccinated. Nehemiah Matthews, I mean, more power to you, bro. I'm about to get into the South Koreans being vaccinated and what resulted from that. That's what I'm about to get into. He calls me a troll because of boxing debate. Kansas, what boxing debate? Didn't you come here and call me a beta? A boxing debate. I never debated you in boxing, you fool. During COVID, most small businesses went bankrupt. Yes, hundreds of thousands of small businesses permanently closed, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Let me see how far I've gone. Hundreds of thousands of businesses closed permanently as a result of lockdowns. This led to a lot of people being depressed. It led to suicide. The institutions they call schools were shut down. Now, I don't agree with the institutionalization of your children, but if your children have been institutionalized for all of their life, and they're meeting their friends, and they have their friends, and they're being sociable, and all of a sudden, they are being hit with this fear campaign, and they're being told that everybody's gonna die, and you know, this has an effect on children. This shit has an effect on children that they are aware of. And yet, we don't recognize this. You called the COVID a beta test? Oh, okay, for sure. 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 If that's what you were doing, then I apologize for going in on you. But I will say, you weren't very clear. You just said beta. You didn't say beta test. You said beta test later. You didn't say COVID was beta test. You just said beta. And I recognize you as one who likes to go in chats and talk shit. So, you know, if that's not what you were doing, then I apologize. But, you know, you weren't very clear. I did. I read some of you. I can't read every single comment from every single individual. Record profits for businesses, and they can't lose money because they spent too much money. Well, yeah. Yeah, some businesses had record profits, right? Like Target, Walmart, Costco. How often did you see people in Costco buying up all the toilet paper? Remember the toilet paper getting? Remember that? These things, man. Mass hysteria. Mass hysteria. See, the response our government had to COVID-19 created more death and destruction than COVID-19 itself. Yes, backpack. That's what I did when COVID-19 was going on and they were trying to spread all this fear. Remember they told y'all not to work out? Oh, if you get COVID, don't work out, your heart will explode. Remember that? Oh, man. You know what I did? See, I'm rebellious by nature. And when I was a kid, I was so bad. They took me to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist told them I was uncorrigible, meaning that I just don't want to listen to anything that anybody tells me. But I was incorrigible. And I'm still incorrigible to this day. They told me not to go outside without a mask on. I went outside without a mask on. They said don't work out when you get COVID. I worked out when I had COVID. My heart didn't explode, y'all. Well, man, let me tell you, I say the third time I caught COVID, that was the worst for me. I lost like 10 pounds in one day and all that good stuff. I was fatigued, everything, all the whole shit. The fevers, the back pain. I just didn't have any lung issues, right? I didn't have hard time breathing. My lungs were in tip-top shape. See, these are the things. This is why I do what I do. It prepares you for something like that, right? Salute to Black Spring. She says she remembers. This is why I do this. I was rucking way back then. So even during COVID, I was rucking up hills. You know, there were people still there. I was so proud to see people outside working out. Now, did some of them wear a mask? Sure, I didn't wear a mask. I was out there damn near every day. Hell, my job, I had to sit my ass down because my job, you know, they had to lock down too, you know? So I was going outside every day, doing what I'm doing right now, rucking, giving you guys information, you know? And when I caught COVID, I didn't have any hard time breathing. I didn't lose oxygen, none of that. Can we see my medical degree? I don't have one, XX. What is that? What does a medical degree have to do with anything? Let me ask y'all a question. See, what XX is trying to do is appeal to the experts, appeal to a professional, appeal to the authority, right? Appeal to authority. See, he doesn't believe I'm an authority on this subject because I'm not a doctor, right? Because only a doctor can be an authority, right, of medical stuff. Well, that means in his mind, no one else has a right to speak about it. That's called an appeal to authority. But see, here's one thing I do know how to do, XX. I know how to read. I know how to read. I know how the scientific method works because I did go to, when I was in college, I was a geology major. So geology is science-based. So I understand the scientific method. My cousin spent 6 months in the hospital. That's unfortunate. What were they in the hospital for, if you don't mind me asking? Took the Johnson & Johnson and got COVID 4 times. Well, that makes a whole lot of sense. Johnson & Johnson, none of these vaccines actually prevented anybody from getting COVID at all. As a matter of fact, I would suggest Kim Possible. I don't know if you might want to get yourself checked out if you took the COVID-19, and I would tell anybody that. So I don't have to be a doctor, or if I was, I would not. If I were a doctor, I don't have to show you shit because I'm not giving anybody any medical advice. I'm giving about people common sense advice. Exercise, eat right, reduce inflammation. These things will go a long way to prevent you from being crippled by sickness. I don't need to be a doctor to tell y'all that. I don't need to be a doctor to tell y'all that this study I'm going to touch on raises a lot of concern, right? Tanya D, salute to you. Salute to Tanya D in the building. Y'all hit the like button, man. I got 400 people in here. Y'all can't double tap the screen. Because I'm giving you guys valuable information. Why is it valuable? Because, well, how many people did they foist this vaccine onto? How many people got the vaccine? Because there were countries where over 90% of people took the vaccine. And this study I'm about to show y'all, well, this is a study with a large sample size of 8 million people, 8+ million people in this study. All right. Now, that's what this is, right? This is the first population-wide study that finds COVID-19 vaccines increase the risk of multiple cancers. This is just cancers, y'all. There are other diseases that are not cancer that result from this software. They called it, right? They called it software. Software for life. That's what they called it. It's not a vaccine, it's software for life. You remember that, Derek C. Williams? So, Korean study of 8.4 million people. It might be backwards, but I'm told if you can read backwards, if you can read words that are backwards, you're pretty smart. That's what I'm told. Every time I go on to Facebook and they show shit backwards and they say if you can read it, you're a genius. So according to Facebook, I'm a genius. Anyway, 8.4 million adults find. So a South Korean study of 8.4 million adult finds higher risk of overall lung, prostate, thyroid, gastric, colorectal, and breast cancers across both mRNA and viral vector platforms. So it's not just the mRNAs, y'all. It's the viral vector platforms. See, this is real data. 8.4 million people. See, this is why you take time. This is why usually when they introduce a vaccine into the public, into the health sector, they can take up to 10 years because they perform study after study, research. They follow the scientific method before introducing shit like this to the public. Scientific method involves test after test after test after test. It has to go through rigorous testing multiple times until you arrive at what is known as a scientific fact. The study, the research, the test, the exams, the whatever you're doing, over and over again is tested. Peer reviewed, right? Peer reviewed. So you're not testing it over and over again. No, your peers are testing until you arrive at a scientific fact. Once you arrive at the scientific fact, it becomes law, essentially. So let's say gravity, right? The law of gravity. Well, gravity exists. It's a scientific fact that there's a gravitational pull on Earth, right? That every object, every particle, every ion, every goddamn molecule has mass. Depending on the amount of mass you have, that determines how much gravitational pull affects you. Well, this is a scientific fact. It has gone through rigorous testing, right? Newton's law, the law of gravity, that's a scientific fact. Gary A. Fernandez says, it took me 5 years to come up with an answer when people say, Gary, you're crazy with all this nonsense about COVID. My answer rather be crazy than blatantly stupid. Yes. So back in 2020, and when they started talking about this vaccine, when they started talking about this mRNA and viral, right, the viral vector shit, right? Because there are two types. You had the mRNA, right? You had the mRNA and the viral vector platform. Good morning to my beautiful, beautiful Desiree Oliver. My beautiful YouTube wife in the building, showing love and showing support. Hugh B. Okay, I'm not going to read that. I went camping in the woods for a year. Good for you, man. I bet you had a good time. Unvaxxed, unmasked, and unafraid. That's what I'm talking about. So this study that they did, consisting of 8.4 million subjects, 8.4 million adults. It shows it finds a higher risk of overall lung, prostate, thyroid, gastric, colorectal, and breast cancers. Now let's go down to the different percentages, right? Let's talk about those. If that's your wife, if that's your wife on LA, what? Fuck you. You funny. That's a funny name. Y'all be coming up with these real clever names, y'all. It's very interesting. What is the source of the study? Korea, the Korean government. Now Derek Williams is dropping the study he's dropping a link to the study. Y'all can check it out. The North Korean government. Y'all love government so much, right? Let me see. Yes, it's the North Korean government came up with this study. That's the source of the study. Yes, it's great to ask for sources. And guess what? I'm able to articulate who the source is, the Korean government. So, now, about a month ago, the first ever population cohort study reported increased risk following COVID-19 vaccination. All right, this is what it's talking about. First, it's talking about the first large study. It says in Italy, nearly 300,000 residents were tracked for 30 months, showing that mRNA shots significantly increased the risk of overall cancer, breast cancer, bladder cancer, and colorectal cancer. Yes, that's what it showed, y'all. Now, it's saying that the second and far larger population-based cohort study by Kim et al. From the South Korea has corroborated and expanded upon these findings, drawing a massive sample more than 8.4 billion people. 8.4 billion, that's a lot of motherfuckers, man. That's a huge sample size. Someone says they never took a day off work. Salute to you. Oh, he's saying ooh la la, yeah, because you beautiful. Yes, the beautiful Desiree Oliver is indeed beautiful. But don't be laughing at me not being able to read. Y'all got my wife laughing at me. Your hubby was furloughed? Yeah, I was furloughed to a degree. But all right, because, I took that opportunity to really get fit. I really took that opportunity to go hard in the paint. Derek C. Williams says 19,000 confirmed COVID-19 deaths according to VAERS. Yes, that is a voluntary report system. Voluntary, I forgot what the A stood for. So the study's there, y'all. This information is out here. Myocarditis and pericarditis used to be rare, but not after the shots. Well, salute to you, bro. Think about that. It used to be rare, but now it's not. Well, of course, because they introduced this software for life. right? They introduced the software for life. Well, it is really the software that took life. Jalen says, subbed. As a scientist, I follow logic. Yeah, I appreciate that, Jalen. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I do know how to read. So, what else does it say? Let's break down the different percentages of what went up, right? So here, let's go here, right? Design and data. Population-based retrospective cohort using the Korean National Health Insurance Database. Okay, so this is a national, it comes from a retrospective cohort using the Korean National Health Insurance Database. All right, population, 8,407,849 adults. Exposure, COVID-19 vaccination. Analyzed overall by platform, mRNA, cDNA. Oh, what's a cDNA? And heterologous schedules. Matching, large-scale propensity score. Matching, 1 in 4 vaccinated, unvaccinated. So for every vaccinated individual, they checked it against 4 unvaccinated for main analysis. 1 in 2 within vaccinated for booster versus non-booster. So for every vaccinated person that had a booster, they had 2 that were non-booster. So that means they didn't get a second shot. Okay? This is what the data is telling us. What is the end of the study versus control? Hold on. Well, see, this was this was collected data from the insurance company. Now, key results, cancer significant increases, 1 year follow-up. So 1 year after, right, they started collecting this data, they saw a significant increase in cancers, right? Overall, right, HR 1.27, right, it shows that there was a 27% higher risk of all cancers combined in vaccinated versus unvaccinated. So those who were vaccinated saw an increase of 27% in cancers versus people who were not vaccinated, all right? With lung cancer, they saw a 53% higher risk. Prostate cancer, and mind you, only men have prostates. Prostate cancer, 69% higher risk. Thyroid cancer, 35% higher risk. Gastric, 34% higher risk. Colorectal cancer, 28% higher risk. Breast cancer, 20% higher risk. Interpretation, an HR of 1.53 for lung cancer means that vaccinated individuals developed lung cancer at a rate 53% higher than matched unvaccinated peers over the same 1 year follow-up period. Similar interpretations apply to each cancer type. cDNA vaccines, AstraZeneca type, linked to higher risk of thyroid cancer, gastric, colorectal, lung, and prostate cancer. Overall, 47% higher risk. This is for the cDNA, the AstraZeneca type vaccine. For the mRNA vaccine, it says it's linked to higher risk in thyroid, colorectal, lung, and breast cancer. 20% higher risk overall. Heterologous mixed schedules linked to higher risk of thyroid and breast cancers. 34%. I'm going through this study, y'all. The scientific database study. Fat Man Scoop took the shot. Marvin Hagler, right? Interpretation. Well, what is the interpretation? Hold on, y'all. The interpretation. The elevated cancer risk were not confined to one platform. Because remember, they tried to make you believe that, oh, well, it's really just as AstraZeneca. No. It wasn't just one platform. Whether adenoviral vector, cDNA, mRNA, or mixed schedules, like if you had both, if you took both types of shots. And Kansas City Fox News anchor and his wife both, yeah. Darcy Williams, you talked about this. Deion Sanders, wasn't he a huge advocate for the COVID-19 vaccine? Now he's getting all these blood clots. He has cancer and all this other stuff. Remember he pushed that? Yeah. Now, each vaccine type was associated with a measurable increase in overall cancer, and each had specific cancer sites driving the signal. In other words, no vaccine technology was free of cancer risk in this data sheet. Booster dose analysis, gastric cancer, 23% increase. Pancreatic cancer, now listen to this. Pancreatic cancer, 125% increase. 125% higher risk with boosters. You are 125% increase. If you had the booster, there was a 125% higher risk if you had the booster to get pancreatic cancer. I mean, this thing is very, very detailed. Now, with two independent national data sets converging on the same conclusion, governments, regulators, clinicians, and researchers must confront the sobering reality. Nearly 70% of the global population has been injected with a carcinogenic product. The evidence demands immediate market withdrawal of these products, but they won't do that. They won't do it. There won't be an immediate withdrawal. At the McCullough Foundation, we are deeply investigating both the molecular mechanisms and the population level data linking COVID-19 and cancer. So there you have it, folks. There you have it. 27% overall increase. Overall higher risk in contracting any type of cancer that I mentioned. Lung, colorectal, breast, prostate, thyroid, gastric. 27%. 27% higher risk. And what did they do when they rolled this thing out? And Donald Trump, who I've yet to mention to this point, well, Donald Trump, he kickstarted this thing, did he not? He got this whole thing going all over the world, right? Yeah, because, the United States, we do one thing. We are the leaders of the free world, right? Didn't we fund other countries' ability to get these vaccines out to the people? Didn't they do an emergency, right? The FDA provided an emergency approval to get these vaccines out there. They did indeed. They said, you know what? We'll allow these companies to put these vaccines out without the rigorous studies, without the test. Yeah, we'll allow them. We'll give them emergency authorization to administer these yet to be tested medication, or whatever you want to call it, this treatment. Yeah, that's what they did. Emergency use authorization. Right? Emergency use authorization. Without the studies, without human trials. Yeah. And now here we are. From 2021 to 2023, this is what the data shows. It only took 2 years, y'all, to discover how dangerous this shit really is. Well, they didn't have human trials yet. Donnie Rames, they didn't have human trials. They were in the process of human trials when they wrote this shit out. They said they had human trials, but it wasn't very rigorous. It didn't have the controls that you will typically have. So, this is what Operation Warp Speed brought about. Yeah, we're gonna put this out in 9 months, y'all. 9 months. Good morning. It usually takes 5 to 10 years, but you know, we put it out in 9 months, and we're supposed to be proud of that. We're supposed to appreciate our illustrious, benevolent government and its leader, Donald Trump. We're supposed to applaud him. We're supposed to have gratitude because they forced the rollout of this. They provided emergency use authorization, which they were able to do because of the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act. Y'all look that up. Derek, somebody, one of my mods, drop the link to the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act in the chat, please. I talked about that as well. Before COVID-19 came to the United States, I talked about the Model States, before they say COVID-19 came to the United States. I went over the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, which gave our states and the government the ability to commit medical terrorism against you. That's what they used. AJ says, Freedom March, you're very knowledgeable. Man, I'm just as knowledgeable as the information is provided. You know, I just took the time to look at stuff, and I'm just conveying it to you guys because a lot of people don't take the time to look at this stuff. You know, they just want to, I get it. Y'all want to just live your lives. You really, at the end of the day, we all just want to mind our own business and be left the fuck alone. But yes, Donald Trump expedited the jab on the behalf of Big Pharma. Donald Trump was acting at the behest of Big Pharma, right? And all the other huge corporations that benefited from the lockdowns, that benefited from, what they call it? Well, essential workers bullshit, essential businesses. Let me comb. You got to comb your beard out sometime, you know what I mean? Essential businesses, essential workers, and, they pick and chose what got to stay open, what didn't. They'll shut down the small restaurant, but leave the big restaurant open. Like, it's utter nonsense. That was highway robbery, y'all. Yes, it wasn't just about control. It was also about the enrichment of the special interest groups, the bankers and the lobbyists. Well, the lobbyists work for the lobbyists act on behalf. They're hired by special interest groups. But you get what I'm saying. Where's my rifle? Not here. I don't want to scare people, people, even though open carry is legal out here, I could carry it legally, but I don't feel like getting harassed by a street pirate, so. Good morning. Yeah, I don't. Yes, Yeshua's return. Salute to you. Been a minute since I seen you. I thought you had a wrench, brother. Didn't you have a wrench? Did you change your channel? Yeah, hit the double tap the screen, y'all. Yes, Black Spring Autumn. Donald Trump is the father of cocktails, mocktails. Yes. I didn't get the shot, but Trump. No, he didn't. Sasquatch. Good morning. Sasquatch Kessner. Trump did not get nobody's booster. That was probably a freaking saline shot. Ain't nobody, man, get the fuck out of here. Remember when Candace Owens interviewed Donald Trump and threw all these softball questions about COVID? Yeah, I ain't forgot a lot of the shit that Candace Owens has done. America is dying saying, hey, go look up this guy who was saying about Trump trying to open up the country by Easter and ivermectin and ACQ. Did he mention what his stance was then? I don't remember what you're talking about. But what I do know is the monoclonal antibodies, in my opinion, were your best chance of nicking or nixing the COVID-19 if you contracted. If you didn't want to tough it out, if you didn't feel like you were healthy enough to overcome COVID-19, I think the monoclonal antibodies were probably the best bet, because that was the thing that they were trying to prevent from being used the most, right? Even over ivermectin and ACQ, hydroxychloroquine, Quinn. Yeah, the monoclonal antibodies, that was the thing they least wanted people to have. I remember they were using that all over Florida. And then Joe Biden said, no, we can't be having that. And he stopped, Florida from getting monoclonal antibodies, because people were like older people with comorbidities were getting COVID and they were really sick, like dying. They took the monoclonal antibodies. A couple days later, right back to brand new. You know what I'm saying? But see, monoclonal antibodies, that has been a medical intervention for quite a long time, just like ivermectin and other things. Like these are tested products, but they rather go with the untested, untried, and untrue nonsense because your favorite leader. And you know what? I will say, I am proud whenever MAGA people, when you guys call Trump out on his BS, because a lot of Trumpers did not rock with what Donald Trump was doing with Operation Warp Speed and the COVID-19 vaccine. But I mean, y'all just go right back to loving on him. I don't get it. This man demonstrates over and over again that he's not really for you, but he'll come out and do something every now and then to get y'all back in his good graces, or get back in y'all's good graces, and it's very sad when I see that. Look overseas, I say, yeah, Biden didn't take that shit either. Just like Barack Obama didn't drink the Flint water, y'all. Barack Obama didn't drink nobody's Flint water. If you don't knock it off, they don't listen. Just like Steve Jobs didn't let his kids have an iPad, there's a reason for all these things, right? Do you think Bill Gates eats vegan food? Probably not. Listen. Oh, and by the way, didn't recently the CEO of Pfizer slip up? He slipped up and said that, his products were weapons. So we got to pay attention to these people. Yeah. The CEO of Pfizer, I forgot his name, was speaking with a reporter, and he was talking about his products and, all the vaccines and all that were weapons and all this, and he slipped up. He corrected himself, but guess what? The cat's out the bag, my friend. Excuse me. He was cognitively impaired since he was in office. You talking about Biden? Yeah, so what? No one cared. They still let him in there. They still let him rule the roost, right? They didn't let him rule shit. Who was that said, we just need Joe Biden's corporeal form in office? They just needed his warm body there, right? They didn't care about Joe Biden's mental health and well-being. KK says he loves them some Trump. Good for you. Oh boy, here comes the spousal abuse victims that never want to leave. Never want to leave your what they call them? Your abuser. Yes, Donald Trump is y'all's spousal abuser. He beats y'all. He whoops on you. Don't look at another man, right? Don't talk back. He'll smack your ass up. He'll smack you up, but guess what? You love him anyway, right? Tough Luck says I'm losing him. Why are you here still? Why are you still here? I don't understand that. If I'm losing you, why do you have to tell me, oh, you want me to kowtow and beg for you to stay? No, I'm not gonna do that. If you don't like what I have to say, take your ass on in. Why are you telling me that? Like, I'm not the type to try to... See, I apologize to Cans Dre because I misinterpreted what he said and I went off based on a preconceived notion. But that's not the case here, buddy. Yeah, I don't care if I lose you because I'm not here to kowtow and to cater to your sensibilities. So let me know if you want me to block you. That means I will never benefit from another one of your views. Yeah, I'll risk a future view to block your ass if I'm losing you. I'm not here to keep you. No, I'm here to give you this information and point to the facts that your government did not love you. Your government will never act on your behalf. Your government will only cause death and destruction at a large scale around the world. And the best solution to that, well, is to rid yourself of government, to remove yourself from the government, to become self-sufficient, self-reliant, to not have someone's authority foisted onto you without your consent. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to cater to people. Now, Tough Luck. See? Tough Luck, you are the type of person that cannot think for themselves. Because here comes this lazy talking point. Oh, so move out of our country then, punk. No, that's not going to happen. See, because here's the bottom line to it. The government is only here because the people, right? The government only exists because the people allow the government to exist. So when the corrupt government acts out and misbehaves, we are supposed to spank that ass. Yeah, we spank that ass. When people that work for us act out of pocket, when they become insubordinate, when they do things they're not supposed to do, when they abuse their office, you fire them, right? You fire them. If I own a Fortune 500 company and I have managers that work under me that are doing the wrong thing, they're swindling, right? They're skimming off the top, right? They're taking money off the top and they're giving money to my enemies, to my competitors. They're sharing proprietary information with my competitors. I'm supposed to leave the company? I'm supposed to resign as CEO because my subordinates are acting out of line. I'm supposed to give up my shares, give up my seat on the board, and leave the company because my subordinates are acting out of pocket? No. I'm going to give my subordinates walking papers. I am going to remove them from their position, and I'm going to put their ass out on the street. See, that's how you handle, right? People that work for you, that's how you deal with it. No, you don't leave, you idiot. No, that's your weak ass response to something that you don't like. It's to fucking leave, you fucking lazy bastard. Ooh, move out of the country. Man, there's no more annoying argument than that. So fucking stupid. You fucking dumbass. And when I hear that, it's like, well, what? That's all you got? Sure, I'm triggered. Yeah, I get real triggered when I hear dumbasses talk about leaving the country because your corrupt government is corrupt. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I'm triggered. Because it's lazy. It's lazy, man. No. Our government, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, all these motherfuckers work for us. We pay their salaries, right? We pay for their health care. We pay for them to fly all around the world and be useless. But they work against us every opportunity to enrich themselves, right? Right? To secure their futures and the future of their children. And I'm supposed to leave when they get out of line? What an idiot. That's what you guys are. When you say that, you're an idiot. If you don't like it, leave the country. So fucking lazy. Do better. In my Joey Swole voice. Do better. Salute to Joey Swole. Can we do better? Can we? I mean, come on. Leave the country. If you don't like it, then leave. You have no answer for the corruption. Because you want to accept the corruption because you like a guy. Don't talk about my baby daddy. Don't talk about my baby daddy, Donald Trump. You ain't talking about my baby daddy. You best to leave. So what if he hit me upside the head with a hammer last week? So what? So what if he took money out of my account and gave it to his other baby mama? You better not talk about my baby daddy. Fucking idiots. Salute to Black Spring with Autumn dropping that $5 super chat on your boy. I appreciate the queen. She says the American memory is fickle with the help of media. Not all, but most of have repressed the CV-19 experience, which is still evolving. And it's going to continue to evolve. It's going to continue to evolve. So, listen, this is what I say. If you took the COVID-19 vaccination and you have not had a checkup, if you had not had a full panel, right? A full blood panel. You know, you might even need some samples, right? You might need some, you know, they might need to take some little bits and pieces of organs. I don't know. Well, do what you got to do, man. Because the sooner you're able to catch this stuff, the better. Because colorectal cancer, for instance, you can have colorectal cancer for years and years before you have any symptom of colorectal cancer. So I'm not trying to inject fear into you. I'm just giving you the reality based on what was in this study and multiple other studies. So here's the bottom line to it, right? They used fear to get you to take this shit. And now I'm telling you, these studies came out 4 years after the rollout of the vaccines. We have this data, right? The fear of catching this bug that they did not isolate, they didn't do any of that. They just told you it was there. They proved nothing until they found out what. Once they were able to prove what was really going on behind this shit, they were able to trace the signature back to the Wuhan lab, did they not? So, the bottom line is this, y'all. 8 million people. An 8 million people cohort. 1 in 4 for every vaccinated person they tested, right? They had 4 unvaccinated subjects. For every vaccinated person that had a booster, they had 2 unvaccinated people that didn't have a booster. The information is there, y'all. The information is there. These things are real. But salute to Blasphemy Autumn for dropping that super chat. I really appreciate you. Yes, Yeshua was returned. They've been saying that silly, stupid ass shit for how long? But see, this is what they do. This is usually Republicans that do this, that tell you to leave the country. When you complain about the government, when you call out the government corruption, we'll leave the country. Don't talk about my baby daddy. Well, when Obama was president and Biden was president, why didn't they fucking leave? Because they were complaining every goddamn day. Every day they were complaining. Did they leave? No, because they're full of shit. You guys are full of shit. Point blank and motherfucking period. If you don't like what I gotta say, take your silly, simple ass on. Your simple, silly ass who cannot come up with any logical argument other than to say, well, if you don't like government corruption, then leave. Just the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. Dumbest shit I ever heard. Do a spike protein cleanse? Yeah, you might have to. Darcy Williams says on average, tumors manifest between 5 and 10 years. But vaccinated folks get cancer in months. Yeah, it accelerates the process. Because what is it doing? What are these spike proteins doing? Do you know what cancer comes from? Darcy Williams knows. What causes cancer, right? So let's say you have breasts. You're a woman and you have breasts. And you wear an underwire bra, okay? You wear an underwire bra. Or you wear bras that are too small for you. You wear with an underwire, and you wear bras and all these things. You're smashing your breast every day, right? And what happens? You're causing trauma to your breasts. And what your body does in response is it tries to repair the cells, right? And that's how tumors are created. Tumor comes from an overgrowth of cells that are responding to trauma Except the cells aren't very healthy, are they? They have a lot of free radicals to them. So the free radicals clump together and they create these masses, right? Where trauma has started. That's what a tumor is, or a cyst, or whatever. You know, some are benign, some are malignant. And, you know, also there are mutations that are involved, right? So it comes from mutations, it comes from trauma and overgrowth of cells, and all this other stuff. That's what cancer comes from mutations. What these spike proteins are doing, well, they don't put spike proteins in your body. Your body creates the spike proteins from the mRNA. The mRNA has to go into the cell and give instructions to your cell, right? And it creates these spike proteins. So your body is creating these spike proteins. And it does a number of things. It causes mutations. When the mutations take over, they create these cells that are problematic. And these cells start to proliferate throughout your body. And this is where the cancer comes from, right? But I'm not a doctor, so don't take my word for it. Y'all can go look this shit up. Y'all can go look it up. Tough luck talking more shit. Trump wasn't a politician? What are you talking about? Wasn't a politician when? When he told people that he was gonna, when he signed a bill that put us $6.2 trillion further into debt and initiated Operation Warp Speed, which brought about this vaccine that has created so much devastation. He was definitely a politician. He was a president of the United States. Now, I don't know what you're talking about, Tough Luck. You're talking about something probably when he wasn't president. And if you're talking about the march on the Capitol, well, he was still president at the time. So if you're talking about Donald Trump wasn't a politician, on January 6th, he was. The dude knows everything and is right about everything, says Tough Luck. You talking about me? No, I'm not. But I tell you what, I try not to profess things to you guys as though they're facts, unless I know they're facts. See, that's called pontification. I try not to pontificate on my platform. And when I have a feeling about something, or when I'm speaking on opinion, when I'm expressing my beliefs and opinions, I'll let you guys know, this is what I believe, this is my opinion. I'm not stating it to you as a fact. But what I do know is that they factually did this study, and the results of the study are factual. It talks about links. It talks about cancer being linked to the vaccines. I'm just giving you guys the results. I'm telling you guys what the study shows. It's very clear and easy to read. It's a great study. It's a great interpretation of the study. Anybody can read it, right? It tells you right there. Now, that's just the reality of it. Yes, thank you, Derek, for dropping the link again. Man, I got the pee. Tough Luck says, yeah, I think I'm right about everything. Well, you have yet to prove that I'm wrong about anything. So that's probably why you think I know everything. Because you have yet to prove that I don't know anything. You have yet to demonstrate that I don't know what I'm talking about. So that's why you believe that. Our price won't decrease. Other countries will pay what we pay. Yes, the burden of proof is on you. You're accusing me of thinking I know everything, yet you have yet to come here and prove that I don't know anything. So again, that's why you believe I think I know everything, because you haven't disproven anything I've said. Yeshua's return says this guy's calling you dumb while saying you know everything, while trusting Trump's medical advice. And Trump isn't a doctor. Well, it's funny because Trump told y'all to drink bleach. Well, he didn't tell you to drink bleach. He said, what if you drink bleach? This is what Trump said. What if you drink bleach? Oh boy. I don't think in any time during this whole thing, I told anybody to do anything like drink bleach. Morning. Yet, I'm the one you guys see to be the problem, right? Let's see, how long? 3.5 miles, y'all. Not bad, in an hour and a half. With a ruck on, with as much weight as I have. About 80 pounds. 80 pounds of total weight that I got on me right now. By the time I get back to the van, it'll be a little over 4 miles. Scarlett, salute to you, Scarlett. She asked if I'm at a national park. No, I'm not at a national park. I'm at a community, a big community, a big, beautiful community where they have a lot of nice things going on, you know. A lot of beautiful trees, a nice little walking trail, right? A lot of hills. So you got a lot of little tiny hills up and down this thing. So it's a good place to ruck, right? Yeah, Trump did push it. Trump, if it's not for Trump, it would not have gone as far as it did, right? Y'all remember when the Tanzanian president said, we don't want your damn vaccines? And they tried to make him look like he was an idiot, like he was irresponsible to his people. And guess what? No one in this country died from COVID, y'all. No one. Hell, no one in Africa, really. There were not a lot of COVID cases in Africa, was there? No, there were not. America is dying slowly says, ha, ha, ha. That's not what Trump said. What did not Trump say? Trump didn't say, what if you drink bleach? Will that help kill? Are we serious right now? So you're telling me Trump didn't say that if someone drank bleach, he asked the question. You're telling me he didn't say that? Morning. Is that what you're really telling me? So y'all think that y'all can, so y'all always trying to do the gotcha things, right? Y'all want the gotcha moment. Oh, hold on, I need a gotcha moment against Snapzilla Gorilla. Trump never said that. Now, I don't know if you're referring to what I said he said, but he did say that. He did ask the question of if someone drank bleach, will that kill COVID? Yolanda Alines, yes, he did. Right, Yolanda? I don't know. What are we talking about? Yo, you guys. I mean, come on, man. Why? Donald Trump is not your friend. Donald Trump don't care about you. Hell, Donald Trump don't care about Charlie Kirk. He didn't care about Charlie Kirk was his best friend. Charlie Kirk was his guy. Helped him get elected. Helped J.D. Vance. They don't give a fuck about, man, these people don't care about you. But yet here you are saying that Donald Trump, are you serious, is one of the most famous lines of any president that has ever been replayed. Are we serious right now? Tell me you guys ain't serious. Tell me that you're not talking about what I'm saying about what Trump said about drinking bleach when you say Trump didn't say that. Tell me they're trying to get you blood pressure up. Stop feeding into the nonsense. Yes, he is self-centered. Donald Trump don't care about nobody. He's a sociopath. Most of these people are. You have to be a sociopath or a psychopath to believe that you can go into the halls of Washington and decide the fate of 350 million people. That you and 536 people can make decisions about how you should live your life, what is not okay for you to do. You have to be a sociopath. Why did Sleepy Joe do what? Tough Luck says, I am too, look at me. I am too what? You guys, I'm doing the same thing on this channel. What am I doing on this channel? I'm telling people to drink bleach. The only advice I give for people to stay healthy is to exercise, eat right, and try the best to reduce inflammation. I don't tell people to drink bleach. I did say that monoclonal antibodies helped a lot of people who had COVID really bad, not get better. But I didn't say, go get monoclonal antibodies. If Trump is a sociopath, we need more of it. Now, HH says, if Trump is a social path, we need more of it. Okay. No such thing as a social path. You're absolutely right. There is no such thing as a social path. You're right. We had a choice, says Britt Nicholson. We had a choice between piss soup or turd sandwich. Neither choice is great. No, those aren't our only choices. Are you talking about, is that the same thing as the lesser of two evils argument? You don't have to choose evil. You don't have to choose the turd sandwich or the piss soup. You don't have to have either one. And that's also something that I hope to convey to you guys. You guys have more choices than just two. Trump really was the only choice given the options. No, he wasn't. Sasquatch Kessner, Tanya D. Yes, wow. Tanya D says wow because it is wow. No, those aren't the only choices. I talk about what your choices are all the time on this channel. And it's more than two. See, this is why I do this. There are more than just two choices. You don't have to choose evil. You can choose yourself. You can choose not to participate. You can choose to withdraw, right? So when it comes to the vote and you're deciding, well, we got two evils here. I feel one evil is lesser than the other, but you really have no idea how much evil there is in either candidate because you don't know everything about them. You don't know everything they participate in. You don't know everything they're party to. All you know is what they show you. So, according to what you know, which is not very much, you decide, well, which evil do I want to rock with? So when it comes to that, you are convinced. Hold on, I think I went too far. No, not yet. I'm not there yet. When it comes to voting, you are convinced that, oh, well, You know, I only have these two choices. I got to choose the more evil or the less evil. But in reality, they could be equally as evil as each other. You just don't know that. Well, you don't have to choose either one. You can choose to sit this one out. You can say, you know what? I'm not going to vote for the lesser two evils this time. I'm going to stay my ass at home and get some shit done. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, you don't have to choose either evil. You don't have to choose the piss soup or the shit sandwich. Oh, right. He said injected, Christopher. Yeah. And yeah, he said injected. You're absolutely right, which is worse. It would be worse. Cole Rogers says, never sit out. Never sit out. Here's another good talking point. Oh, don't sit down on this one. Why not? What are you gaining when you vote? What benefit do you get from it? I understand, we have been conditioned, we have been institutionalized, we have been trained to believe that voting is an American duty and a right and all these different things. But, well, when do you benefit from it? Realize, salute to you, Queen. She says, supporters, you put your faith in a man who don't give a fuck about the U.S. He doesn't. But what do you benefit? Your silence will be compliance? Who told you that nonsense? Who said you have to be silent? Not voting does not mean silence. You can not vote and be very vocal about why you're not voting and why it doesn't make sense and why maybe you should give it a try in the next election. That's not silence. Not voting is not silence, y'all. Cole Rogers says, we have Trump because people say out. Oh boy. Well, if we didn't have Trump, we would have Kamala. How is that better? How does that solve the problems? Now, the turnout for this last election was one of the biggest turnouts. Didn't they tell y'all that? The largest turnout in a presidential election? But you're saying people sat out and that's why we have Trump. No. More people turned out. Salute to the beautiful Desiree Oliver. She's back in the building. Darcy Williams says, Dilbert, cartoonist Scott Adams admitted anti-vaxxers was right. He's dying from prostate cancer. Very unfortunate. But we tried to warn him. We tried to warn the people. Not just people like me and Darcy Williams, but doctors, other scientists. They tried to tell y'all. But y'all said we were anti-science, we weren't going with the science. When in reality, the people pushing the vaccines and advocating for the vaccines, well, they didn't go with the science. Science dictates that the vaccines need to be tested over and over and over. Rigorous studies, rigorous testing to determine the efficacy and the safety. But they didn't do that. They went against the science. Desiree Oliver, no, not voting means exactly silence. No, it doesn't. What? Not voting means that you're not submitting. Not voting means that you're not complying. You're not telling the system that you are a willing participant, that you give your consent to be governed. It's not silence. It's very vocal. You're letting them know, I am not participating in your rigged dog and pony show. You're telling them that. You're saying, yeah, by me not voting, I'm not giving my consent to be governed. See, not voting is very vocal. When you do vote, you are telling them that you will stay silent. When they act on your behalf, when you put them in place and they act on your behalf, whether you like it or not, you're telling them you're gonna shut the fuck up. And you're just gonna roll with it because I voted for you. So I don't get to represent my own interest anymore. I chose you to do that. That's what you're saying when you vote. You don't vote, you don't complain. Oh, here comes Ghostface with another one of my favorite talking points. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna tell you why it's the opposite, Ghostface. If you do vote, you can't complain. If you do vote, you can't complain. How is it that I don't vote and I can't complain? How does that make sense? Well, I'm going to give you a perfect analogy that I love to use when it comes to whether or not voters or non-voters shouldn't complain. I'm going to give it to you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, I like to look at it as though I'm in the mafia. Because when you vote, what you're doing is you're vouching for your favorite candidate, for the one you believe is going to be the best one. Scarlet Slew says, how people died for it is to vote. Look how people died for. Yeah, well, those people that died to vote, they got to do the vote thing. They voted, right? Some people died for people in the future to vote, sure, because they convinced you that voting is the only way to get what you need done. But here goes what I say. When you vote, it's like you're vouching for your favorite candidate, right? I like this guy, you know? I vouch for him. This dude is drinking a Democrat Kool-Aid. So now I'm a Democrat. Last I checked, Democrats also push for people to vote. But okay, anyway. So when you vote, you're vouching for somebody, right? So it's like if I'm a made guy in the mafia, right? And I have a friend who I've been rocking with. We've been doing our thing together. We've been getting it popping. We have been earning for the Don, but he's just an associate. So it's me and him, and it's my other buddy. He's made also. He's also a made guy. Well, that associate wants to get his button, right? He wants to get his button. So the only way he's going to get a button is if the Don and the other Dons of the other four families, they agree to open the books to get somebody made, right? You got to open the books up. You got to go through a process, right? Well, so you go to your Don and you say, right? Now, mind you, in this instance, you are the person, you're the made guy that wants to vouch for the associate to get his button. You're gonna vouch for him. But your other friend, the other made guy is like, nah, I ain't gonna vouch for nobody. You know, fuck that. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not vouching for anybody. Oh no. So the guy that decides, I'm not gonna vouch for the associate to get his button, but you decide you're gonna vouch for him to get his button because, well, you think he's talking about something. You believe in the vouching process. You think that if you vouch for somebody, you know, because when you vouch for somebody, you're telling that person that you're vouching for them too, that this is the right guy for the job. He's going to get in there. He's going to make things happen. He's going to act on your behalf. He's going to make you look good. He's going to be a good spokesperson for the family. That's what you're telling the Don when you vouch for this associate to get his butt. Yeah, he's a good kid. Yeah, he put in a lot of good work. Somebody dropped a diamond on me earlier. I don't know who that was. I'm sorry. I missed that. So, the guy that you're vouching for, the associate, that is the candidate that you're voting for in this scenario, in this analogy. So you're voting, you're vouching when you vote because that guy, the candidate, has convinced you he's the right man for the job. He's telling you, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. You know, I was a veteran and I'm a veteran and I did all this and that and the third and I'm the best man for the job. I'm going to speak to my community and I'm going to what they call that? I'm going to appeal to my base. Even if I don't believe in the shit I'm telling you, I'm going to appeal to the base so that I can get their vote. So when you are the mafia made guy and you are vouching for this associate that you want to get his button, you are voting for him. You are putting in a vote. You are throwing your lot in with this dude. You're vouching for him. But the other mate guy, your other friend, well, he chooses not to vouch for the associate. He says, you know what? I don't vouch for anybody. This dude that doesn't vouch, the maid guy, he's known for not vouching for anybody. He doesn't do that. He says, don't ask me. I can't speak for that guy. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what's going to happen if he gets pinched. I don't know if he's going to roll over. I don't know if he's going to do something stupid to compromise the whole organization. I have no idea. So don't ask me. See, that's the guy that doesn't vote. The guy that doesn't vote is the one that says, nah, I don't know this dude. I don't know how he's going to act. I don't know. He can be the greatest guy on earth. But once he gets in that position of power, once he gets confronted, y'all get a brace. If you guys are going to ruck with a lot of heavy weight, get a nice good back brace that's adjustable. You know, you pull the little tabs and it cinches up and it separates your disc, give you some space so that you're not compressing your spine. So the guy that you vouch for, that's the candidate that you're voting for. But the guy that doesn't vote, well, he's not vouching for him. So what happens when you vouch for this associate and the Don says, you know what? All right. He'll get his button. Dude gets his button. Dude gets his button, gets made. You vouch for him. Now, mind you, your buddy, the guy that doesn't vouch, the other made guy, he didn't vouch for him. What happens though? Well, the newly made guy, the one you vouch for, does some crazy, stupid, silly shit and compromises the entire organization. It compromises the whole family. The family just compromised it. The Don gets taken in, all these guys, because he got pinched for selling H. He got pinched. Yeah, he sold some H. So in order to escape justice, what does he do? He rolls. Yeah, he rolls right over the whole family. Well, now, because you vouched for this guy, you vouched for him, you vouched for the newly made guy that got pinched and got the whole organization caught up. You said, I vouch for him. So if he does something wrong, I take full responsibility. But the whole time, the other maid guy, the one that didn't vouch, he said, hey, what can I tell you? I told you this is why I don't vouch for nobody, huh? This is exactly why. Now this guy is pinched. He done rolled over on the whole family. Well, guess what? Now the Don is in prison. The Don is in prison, right? The newly made associate that you vouched for, he's in the witness protection program. He can't get to him. But guess what? Somehow, you didn't get pinched. You're out on the streets. Guess what? The acting Don, the one that's not in prison, oh, he can't find the snitch. Guess who he's coming for? Is he coming for the guy that didn't vouch for the snitch? Or is he coming for the guy that vouched for the snitch? Who is going to get taken out? Who is going to be sleeping with the fishes? Who's going to get fitted with the cement shoes? Tell me who. Jay with open eyes says it's so stupid if Kamala got in the office and started fucking shit up. People would be saying the same, saying the same thing. So it seems the core of the problem is giving someone that position in the first place. Absolutely. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter who you put in place. See, there is an established protocol. There are established safeguards around government that keeps it operating as it does. Oh, nobody has nothing to say about, no one has to say anything. He said, I didn't vote for anyone running until 2020. Now you didn't vote until 2020. Well, when you voted, you vouched. You wrote Willie Nelson. So you just, you essentially did what I said I don't do, except I didn't play no games and pretend like I was going to vote for somebody serious. No, I just decided not to do it. See, that's a form. See, what you did there, tough luck, is you basically did what I suggested we all do, right? But you made it fun. You say, you know what? I'm going to be silly, and I'm going to put Willie Nelson in here. But yet, you defend Trump. I don't understand that. So where are the people that told me that when I don't vote, I don't get to say nothing? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? See, I was just able to articulate, using a beautiful analogy, why the person that votes is actually responsible for the actions of the people they vote for. And why the person that did vote actually has more of a reason to speak up and speak out. Because now that the maid guy that didn't vouch for the snitch, well, he's got problems too now, because even though he didn't vouch for him, he was still his friend. And the guy that did vouch for him, he's on the lam. He's trying to escape repercussions from vouching for a snitch. He's on the run now, and you didn't go on it because you're like, hey, man, I didn't vouch for this guy. Why the fuck should I run? But guess what? They come to you, and they put the screws to you to find your friend. So now you're in a position where you got to give up your friend or you die. See, the person that voted put me in the position to pay for your stupid actions. So the guy that vouched for this associate put me in a position where now I have to answer for the fact that he vouched for this guy simply because I am friends with the maid guy that did vouch for him. Where y'all at? Where are the people that told me I don't get to say nothing because I didn't vote? Where y'all at? Because if you did vote and the guy that you voted for does some silly, stupid ass shit engages in corruption, sells our country down the river, says that 600,000 Chinese motherfuckers can come over here and get a free education. Essentially 600,000 Chinese spies. Selling our country out. When the guy you voted for is doing all that, when the guy you voted for brought about Operation Warp Speed, which led to the proliferation and the rollout and the proliferation of these vaccines, which we now find is linked to an increase in cancer. You telling me I don't get to complain about that? You telling me because I didn't vote for this guy to be placed in the position where he can cause so much devastation, I don't get to say nothing. I have to shut up because you guys created this problem by continuing to go out and vote when it has been demonstrated decade after decade after decade, administration after administration after administration, year after year, century after century, that the elections and the votes and the this and the that result in nothing more than the knowledge that you people are willing to sit there and comply with whatever the government does. They took your vote and they said, yeah, the turnout was huge, right? Over 160 million people in this last election. Yeah. It told them that there were over 160 million fools that will continue to allow us to commit atrocity after atrocity. This is what we're talking about. I didn't vote, but you're telling me I don't get to say nothing about it. The bullshit that y'all caused. Y'all created problems for everyone else by going out to vote. Yeah, I'm putting it all on you. If you voted, you're the problem. How about that? I'm not looking at the level of corruption in this government within this country and saying, you know what? Yeah, let's keep voting for this to continue. Yeah, let's keep the vote going. Yeah, we know that there's too much money in government influencing the politicians and the representatives. We know there's a lot of money floating around. We know there's corruption. We know that there's foreign interests that should not be there. We know that we have foreign entanglements that keep us in trouble. This is demonstrated no matter what administration is in control. It doesn't matter if it's left or right. It doesn't matter if it's Democratic or Republican control. We continue to participate in atrocities all over the world, no matter who's in office. So let's continue to do the same thing and expect different results. Yeah, you're doing the same thing over and over again. The same thing, the same process, the same shit. And the same shit keeps happening. As a matter of fact, it gets worse. It gets worse. We've dived further into the nonsense. I mean, pay attention, you guys. 5.53 miles. That's what the distance I walked. Well, it's not 5.53 actually. It's probably more like 4.5 because I started driving before I turned this off. Anyway, but think about that. We continue to do the same shit. Every 2 years, there's an election on a nationwide scale, right? Every 2 years. Every 2 years, we do the same shit. Yet, the level of corruption, the level of deceit, the level of atrocities grow every single time. But every 2 years, we do the same shit over and over again. Yet the problems continue and continue and continue and increase and increase. They put somebody in front of you. They say, we'll bring change. We'll make America great again. They tell you that. They use these taglines. Right? They sensationalize, they fluff, they do all these things. They put on a huge production at least every 2 years. In some election, whether it's a congressional, senatorial, or presidential, every 2 years. And we don't solve any problems at all. No problem gets solved. And if they do pretend like they solved the problem, well, here comes another problem. Here's another problem we have to solve. And 9 times out of 10, those problems are caused by our government. The government creates problems that they solve every now and then, and they tell you that they're doing something great. Well, you're just fixing the problem you created. A problem that would not exist without government. They pretend like they solve it, but they place another problem. They create another problem in the process. So there will always be problems for the government to solve, because the government will always create problems for the government to solve. And they tell you that they're doing something because they're solving problems with pre-planned solutions that they create to show you that they're doing something. And every 2 years, even though we see that the problem they caused was caused by them, we continue to vote and say, look, this guy's going to go in there. He's going to solve all the problems. They talk about checks and balances with the three different branches of government. Well, okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the judicial branch, the legislative branch, and the executive branch. Okay, so let's talk about the judges, right? In many cases, federal judges are appointed by the president, but the only way that they can take their seat is if the Congress agrees that they should take a seat. They have to get confirmed, right? So here we are. We're using two branches to appoint. We're using two branches to appoint a member of a third branch. That's just an example of how the checks and balances through the Constitution does not really check or balance anything. But one thing that they don't do, which they could if they really wanted to, well, the checks and balances have to come from the people. We have to put our own government in check for it to really work for us. And when we attempt to put our government in check, it has to be effective. In order for it to be effective, you have to remove certain components from government altogether. One such component are the special interest groups and the corporations and the banks. You have to remove that. That has to be taken away. Right? Because that's who they're really beholden to. That's who they truly represent and work for. The corporations and the banks the special interest groups. As long as that's in place, they will never represent you. They will never put you first. They will never make you a priority. Those entities will always be a priority. You have to remove that. What you have to put in place is some form of accountability. And that accountability cannot come from either of the three branches. It has to come from the people. There has to be citizen or civilian oversight. There is no civilian oversight. Nothing at all. Like, there is no group of people that oversee the government. There is no government oversight by the people. We count on the three branches to have oversight over each other. So you have to put in place some system of accountability that does not exist. It doesn't exist. Right? I'm doing a lot of talking and saying nothing, says Thomas. Then why are you here? You know what? Goodbye, in my blue blood voice. Go sit at the kitty table. Go sit at the kitty table. Salute to Blue Blood. And matter of fact, Blue Blood, I saw Blue Blood out there, man. He was doing his live stream. He was doing a video. He was out there walking with his weighted vest. Proud of my brother Blue Blood. I probably inspired him to do that, but it's okay. Salute to my brother Blue Blood. Till you get money out of it, none of this will ever work. Yes, that's just a step. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to work with y'all because y'all love government so much. You guys are statists. You guys can't think of an existence on this earth without government. So I'm trying to help you guys do it y'all way. Billy Goat says, triggered softy. Sure, whatever you say. Tough Luck says, yeah, I'm a joke. Your opinion don't mean shit to me. Call me what you want. Just can't call me stupid. I'm not a Democrat that think men can be women. Okay. Okay. Salute to Darius C. Williams. Salute, brother. Come to VA, Tuffy. Who you talking to? Matter in HD. Salute the Pride Fighter in the building. Christopher Stewart says he's actually stupid, though. Okay. You talking about me? Okay, I'm stupid. But y'all here listening and write in the chat if you're talking about me. Anyway. So, accountability. Is there accountability for the people in government? Outside of government? No. Do you hold your representative to account? Sure, you can call them and write them emails and send them letters. That's not accountability. You're asking them to do something for you. When you should be demanding they do something for you, right? Because they work for you. They're your representative. They're there because of you. So their sole purpose should be to represent you, right? So, no, you shouldn't have to write no goddamn letter asking them to do anything. You should be instructing and demanding they do something, but that's not how it works, right? So you remove the special interest groups, the corporations, and the banks from any involvement with government, right? They are private entities. They should be private entities like you are a private individual. They should not get priority over you. Tiger Rebellion, you funny. Remove all special interest. Put in place some level of accountability, some level of oversight outside of government that can shut shit down immediately. Oh, the IRS. The IRS is acting up. Shut it down. We got to do an audit. We got to figure out what the fuck is going on. Why are we taxing people for tips? Why are we putting out Why are we charging people to live on their own land? What's this property tax stuff? Oh, well, we didn't do it. It was a tax code. Well, okay, well, let's go through that. Why is this in the tax code? Why are we talking about we have to? Now, this is a state level, right? Income tax. Or not income tax, but property tax is a state level. Yeah, you have to be able to go in there and make it make sense. Why are we charging people property tax for just for living somewhere or owning property? Oh, well, you got to pay for the roads. You got to pay for the schools and all these. Well, okay, well, then tell us why we should pay for these schools. Give us a reason. Where can we save money? Why are we paying this contractor so much money? Oh, because you're friends with. Oh, the community leader is friends with the contractor's baby daddy. Okay, well, no. See, that's the problem. We have no process in which to audit these things. I'm not saying don't pay for roads and bridges and schools. No, let's be smart about it. Okay, you're going to take my money. You're not getting the money until you tell me how this money is going to be spent, where it's going, who's getting what. Is there any conflict of interest? If there's conflict of interest, let's remove that. Unless you can prove that conflict of interest is not affecting why we chose this contract. So you want to build that road and that bridge. Convince me why we shouldn't cut out the middleman, which is the government, and just hire the contractor directly. The community gets together. We all decide that we want this road built. We all decide that we want this school built. We all decide that we want this firehouse built. Salute to the beautiful Desiree Oliver. She says property tax is a damn joke. I have to pay for stuff I don't already own. Yeah, it's stupid. No. You see what I'm saying? But I'm stupid because I want to have more. Yeah, I want to micromanage the government. That's what I want to do. Yes. I want to micromanage. If there's anything that should be micromanaged, it's government. I want to know everything they're doing, why they're doing it, what they're spending money on. What's this law? No, this law, no, we can't even introduce this act. We can't introduce this bill because it's talking about violating people's rights in this bill. Shred this shit. No, there needs to be complete oversight. I need to micromanage the fucking government. Yeah. No, we're not introducing a bill that creates, what's this, an assault weapons ban? Man, get this shit out of here. We're not even going to bring this to the floor. What's this law? Oh, you want to send money to Pakistan for what? What's that doing for us? No, get that shit out of here. What's wrong with that? Let's micromanage the government. But we don't want to do that, do we? We want to sit back. We want to say, here's my vote. Take that shit, man. I'm a chill. Whatever you do is what you do. I don't give a fuck. Until you get fucked. Yeah, you don't give a fuck until you get fucked. And sometimes you don't even realize you're getting fucked. And then next thing you know, by the time you realize you got anal prolapse. Oh, oops. Sasquatch Kessner says, but the courts I've already sided with the corporations, and the corporations say they represent a larger part of the people, but they don't. What corporation ever came to you and asked you what you think about this? We're going to lobby in Congress to get this done. What do you think about that? Has any corporation or special interest group come to you or taken a survey to find out what the people really want and what the people feel they need? Has any corporation ever came to you to do that? Just like the representatives, they don't do that. No one comes to you and asks you anything. No one asks you what you feel about this measure. You might even be able to vote for a measure. But have you ever introduced a measure to be voted on in your local elections? Because you can do that. You know that, right? You can propose legislation to your representatives if you want it. You can say, hey, man, What do you think about this? Why don't you create a bill out of this proposal, and let's see how far it goes. You can do that. Special interest groups do it all the time. They pay money for that. They pay money to have regulations included or removed on their behalf. We can do the same thing. We just don't do it. We ain't got the money or the influence. This is why they don't represent us like they do. Still not sure if property tax is rent or extortion. It's extortion. It's not rent. You own it. How do you can't rent what you own. You own it. It's not rent. Washington State's House Bill 2117 was put forth by myself and a group of civilians. Salute to you, C Unit. That's what I'm saying. You can do it. I didn't say you can't. Yes, C Unit and a group of civilians have done that. Tell me what C Unit. I'm curious. What is House Bill CU Unit C 2117? Just give me a summary, and let me know if it had any traction. You guys can do that. You guys can introduce. You guys can put forth bills and acts. You can give them to your representatives. They can introduce it or not introduce it. It is what it is. Yeah, they can do that. Tough Luck 65 says you don't own it if you pay taxes on it. If the state can take your property, you really don't. I agree. I agree. Yes. Anyway, y'all, I got to go. Your AARP is a special interest group. You guys, you know that. You guys can introduce bills and measures and all these different things. Y'all can do that for sure. Oh, there are ways you can, I think there are homestead exemptions and exemptions for veterans. There are ways you can get exemptions. It's a process that you shouldn't have to go through, though. Most people aren't going to get those exemptions, though. Anyway, y'all, thank you guys for coming through. Yes, you have a great day as well, the beautiful Desiree Oliver. If you guys want to, y'all can reach me at freedomsmarch80@gmail.com if you guys want to share any information. Salute to, I'm not going to say his name, but somebody emailed me yesterday. I was talking about, Candace Owens' update about the round that didn't kill Charlie Kirk, and they sent me some very good information in the to my email address. So you guys can do things. Y'all can send me whatever to my email address. Billy Go says stay mad. Absolutely. Anyway, so you guys can send me whatever. If you have anything that disagrees with what I'm saying, if you guys got any counter information to what I've said, or if you want me to look something up, you want me to speak on something, y'all can send that to freedomsmarch80@gmail.com. Oh, thank you, Scarlett. I appreciate you. Scarlett H says she's subbing. I appreciate that. Scott Barney says the only way we heal this country is to talk to each other without emotion. I agree. But sometimes you can get impassioned. There's nothing wrong with passion. If you believe in what you're saying and you become passionate, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you stay on the path of logic, right? You can be impassioned. There's no problem. You ruined it for everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with impassioned discussion. There's nothing wrong with that. And every now and then you can have a little fun and talk a little shit. There's nothing wrong with it. We don't have to be so sensitive. Do I talk shit to y'all sometimes? Sure. But I'm still a human being. I'm still going to talk shit. I grew up in the 80s where we told each other mama jokes. It is what it is. Sunshine says, send the opposition with facts and not insults. Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to have your shit taken seriously. Sasquatch Kessner says, I've subscribed and I'm looking forward to the next one. I appreciate that. Salute to RZ. Salute to Matter and HD. I appreciate everyone that's saying that they're going to subscribe. I really appreciate that. I will, Black Spring. You guys go out there and get fit, man. Y'all throw on a little backpack, put like 10, 20 pounds of weight in there and get to walking. To me, that's the best form of cardio, especially if you have spinal conditions. Just make sure when you're rucking that you're not hunched over. You try to walk upright, engage engage your core muscles, engage your stabilizer muscles. Use your leg and glutes to walk. You know, sometimes when I go rucking, I'll do squats every now and then, or I'll do some lunges. You know, just whatever you want. You start small and increase the weight whenever you feel like, okay, I can do that. So anyway, thank you to Realize Sunshine. Thank you to Scarlett. Thank you to Scott Barney. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Black Spring with Autumn. She's also awesome. If you guys have a channel, make sure you drop your link, y'all. To my moderators, drop your links in the chat. Salute to my YouTube wife, Desiree Oliver, for coming through. Hug a tree today. Why not? Trees are great. I love trees. Crystal Tucker says, appreciate that you can walk. So yes, y'all do it. Yes. Sunshine says, I'm not blocking so I don't get spanked this morning. No, you don't. Yeah. I'm going to leave that one alone, Sunshine, but yes. But I know Sunshine should be on her shit. And I ain't mad at it. Yes, drop your links, y'all, if you got a channel. Y'all check out Black Spring. She's going to be bringing us more content in the future. And I will also be doing more content with Black Spring in the future. So, you know, we are... This is a work in progress, you guys. Every day, you know, I have ideas and plans that I want to put forth. And I'm going to bring you guys the best content I can. You know, you might even start seeing more fancy shit, you know, fancy stuff, you know, fancy bells and whistles and stuff like that. You know, I just, for me, it's something organic about doing the content the way I do it, off the dome, and just telling you guys just bringing you guys information the way I bring you information. Even if I bring receipts on my phone and I'm reading to you guys, and it's something about being able to engage with you guys as you guys, even if you disagree or you talk shit, it's all in fun. I feel like it's organic. And not to say that people that had these big old production setups and all that stuff aren't organic. It's just, I feel like once you get to that place where, okay, I got the table, I got the mic, I can share my screen, and it's like, okay, now I'm teaching, right? And I'm talking at you guys. And there's less engagement. I feel like you get less engagement with the people unless they drop a super chat, and then, okay, I got to read the super chats. But I feel like once you get to a point where, okay, now I got to focus on all these bells and whistles. I got to show this, that. I got to show this graphic. I got to do this. I got to do that. I feel like you kind of lose the connection to the people. And, you know, of course, as your subscriber counts grow and your views grow and you get all these chats, you can't read everything. But you can't read all the comments. You can't engage with, even now, I can't, right? With so many people writing in the chat and it's going up and going up. I can't respond to every chat, but, you know, I'm not saying I won't ever have that deal going on. I will have a more better production setup where I got the bells and whistles, but I don't want that to be how I bring content every single time I bring content. Black Spring Autumn says, yes, it gets cumbersome. Sunshine says she has a request. What is your request, Queen? Let me know. I appreciate you, Crystal Tucker. Just keep the dream alive. That's what's up. You know, yes, I'm gonna have the bells and whistles. I'm just not gonna be doing it every single time I bring you guys content. I will still be doing my rucking lives. I'll still be driving in the car and doing my lives that way. You know? And when I do bring that other stuff, because I do want to have like a network where, I can bring the news, I can show things and do all those things. I don't want that to be the main focus. Even when I do that, I still want to be able to engage with the people and not have to say, well, give me a super chat. And that's the only way I'm reading your comments. That's the only way I'm engaging. No, I don't want to be like that. Not saying that you have to, but Lisa Wimberly says, stupidest thing I heard today. Salute to you. I mean, hey, that's your opinion. You can have that. What I don't understand is why you're in here writing in the chat of a person that's saying the stupidest thing you ever heard. I mean, it begs the question, right? If what begging the question is a fallacy, right? When you basically make a statement that presents itself as a fact, but you have not provided any evidence that it's a fact. You just saying shit. That's called begging the question, because then you have to ask the question, why are you listening to the stupidest thing you heard today? If it's the stupidest thing you heard, why are you here and writing in the chat? Why? What makes it the stupidest question? You have to bring some level of substance. Like what gives you that impression? Sunshine says she has a request. Can you please do a live stream dedicated to the supplies and things people need to know when shit hits the fan? Yes, I can do that. I will give my best. I will do my best to itemize that. Sure. Yes, I will do that. And I have a lot of that stuff on hand. I am proud of you, Sunshine. Yes. But I'm also proud when you are in there sniping people that get out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? That shows me that you got my back. So you are being nice, Sunshine. I know you got my back though. That's what you're looking out for your boy. I appreciate that. America's Dying Slowly says he doesn't like people calling him out a liar. Haha, that's all you have done the entire time. You lied about this. What did I lie about? Tough talk. Tough luck says, Sunshine, there are bug out kits online, stock up and dried foods and canned goods, batteries, guns, ammo. Can't real store gas. You can't really store gas for long periods. It loses volatility. Yeah, it's the gas will lose its volatility after a certain period of time. That's why I find it funny these post-apocalyptic where the pandemic has been going on for 3-4 years and they're still driving around in cars. I find that interesting. American Dying Slowly is saying Trump and bleach. Trump said that. Trump asked if you injected bleach with that stuff. Whatever, man. Okay. Yeah, I'm lying. Do you honestly think that we can come back from this, or do you think it's going too far? Well, it's going too far, and we can come back from it. It's going too far, and we should come back from it, and we can. Absolutely. I wouldn't be doing this. I would not be coming to you guys like this. I wouldn't be putting in the effort and the energy to talk to you guys about this stuff if I didn't think we can come back from it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Salute to Florida. Dudley Hamby. Salute to you. Tough luck. He says, no, he didn't. He said that meds were like bleaching your insides. Okay. Hold on. Bleaching your insides? I'm pretty sure he didn't say that. I'm pretty sure he didn't say that. How y'all doing?
A question that probably
salute to Carol.
Are thinking of if you're totally into that.
Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
To be very interesting.
Let's find out.
So, supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too.
We'll see.
Interesting.
Right, you can't hear?
The disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute.
Hold on. Can you guys hear? We're going to see. We're going to see what he said. Tiger Rebellion, you can't hear. Who can't hear? No, Sunshine. We're not going to do that. No, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let's see.
1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. And so we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful. Some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds...
No, I did my due diligence. But you're right. He didn't say bleach. He said disinfectant. So, he did say injecting disinfectant. He didn't say bleach. So, yes, I was wrong about that. Congratulations. I know they're trolling. Wait, y'all didn't hear that? No, I did my due diligence. But yes, disinfectant, which is, you know what disinfectant is? Putting disinfectant. Bleach is a disinfectant, but no, he didn't say bleach specifically. Yeah, because you're wrong. How can we believe anything that comes out of your mouth? You don't have to. You don't have to. Tough luck. But I didn't lie. It's not a gotcha moment. Disinfectant, bleach is a disinfectant. He didn't say bleach specifically, but he said disinfectant. Injecting disinfectant. Y'all said medication. See, this is what y'all said. Y'all said that he said put medication in there like bleach. But he didn't say that either. So y'all are liars? No, he didn't say UV light is called disinfectant. He didn't say that. He said UV light or a disinfectant, injecting disinfectant. You don't inject light. He said inject disinfectant. He was talking about the medicine. He did not say that. He said disinfectant. No, he didn't say medication being a disinfectant, tough luck. Now you're lying. Me? I mistook what he said. Right? I thought he said bleach previously because it had been a while since I heard him talking about this. But he said disinfectant. He didn't say medication. He didn't say anything about medication. He said inject disinfectant. That's what he said. No, he was not. He said UV light inside the body through the skin. Right? He said that. He said UV light through the skin, and then he said disinfectant, injecting disinfectant. You don't inject light into a human body. He said disinfectant. So see, now you're lying to try to prove yourself right. When I said, well, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. He didn't say bleach. There. See how easy that is? I have no problem being proven wrong. But see, y'all do. Because he was referring to and we're not talking about what he was referring to. Because I could just say, when he said disinfectant, he was referring to bleach. He didn't say they used a medication like disinfectant. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. He said inject disinfectant. He didn't say nothing about no medication. He said UV light and disinfectant that you can inject into the body. See, you're saying he's referring to meds, but he didn't say meds. Did he say meds? Put a 1 in the chat if he said anything about medication.
It sounds interesting to.
Because he said it sounds interesting to him. There's nothing interesting about injecting people with medication. That's what you typically do in the medical field. You inject people with medication. That's not interesting. That's something that's already been done. But what's not been done is injecting people with disinfectant. Yes. So you're being a nail? No, I'm not being a nail. No, I'm not being, y'all are being a nail. See, you guys are taking what y'all want from this. See, I just simply said I was wrong. He didn't say bleach. I accepted that. But you guys are trying to infer what he was talking about or what he was referring to when he didn't say anything about medication. He said disinfectant, plain and simple. See, I could say, well, he's referring to bleach if he said disinfectant, which a lot of people did. But he didn't say anything about medication. He said UV light, putting UV light in the body, like under the skin, like, it like shining UV light, and it permeates your skin and it gets into your skin. And then he said injecting disinfectant. He didn't say injecting medications like the disinfectant. You don't inject light. It's crimson, you dig? You don't. But they're trying to, because they feel like they had a gotcha moment, which you didn't, because I can just simply, there's no gotcha. I simply said, okay, well, he didn't use the word bleach. Yeah, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. He didn't use the word bleach. Bada boom, bada bing. It is what it is. But he said disinfectant. Like Lysol is a disinfectant. Right? Lysol is a disinfectant. Bleach is a disinfectant. But I've never heard of a medication that disinfects. What they usually say is like an antibiotic. Antibiotic or antiviral or anti-something or anti-that. Disinfectants are what you use to sterilize something, right? Usually on surface things. right? You disinfect the countertop, you disinfect the microwave, you disinfect this and disinfect that. Seswas Keshner says, go back and listen again, and who cares? We are talking about it and working things out between us. Yes, nothing wrong with that. But see, now people are trying to add extras. Oh, look. Oh, he was wrong about something. Oh, let's lie now. America is dying slowly. I'm going to say this one more time. I'm going to say this one more time. You said UV light is called a disinfectant. I'm going to say this one more time. He talked about UV light separately from disinfectant. He said use UV light and somehow get it in the body, like through the skin. And then he said disinfectants, injecting disinfectants into the body. He's talking about two separate things. UV light can be considered a disinfectant that you use outside of the body, right? When you go and you put things under UV light, or they run UV light over a surface, you're disinfecting it. Yeah, sure. But you don't inject light into your body. So that's the last time I'm gonna say that. All right. So yeah, there you go. The bleach thing came from MSBC. Yeah, I mean, people took it and ran with it, of course, because he said disinfectant. So that's what they do. They frame things to make people look a certain way. And having been so long since I watched or heard him say that, I got it mixed up. It is what it is. It's simple. But you know what I did? I went ahead and played that video where he said that, whether or not, I didn't pre-listen to it and say, you know what, I'm going to listen to it on my own over here, and I'm not going to let y'all listen to it, and I'm going to just run with what I'm running with. No, I played it for everybody to hear, whether I was right or wrong, whether I knew I would be right or wrong, because it had been so long since I listened to it. I said, see, you know what? Let me go ahead and play this for the people. Sasquatch Kessner says, I like how we're arguing over someone you don't vote for anyways. Well, the point is to show you why voting is pointless. So you're going to use how the people you vote for are creating problems for you so that I can show you why voting is a problem. That's why we're arguing about it. That's why we're having this discussion. Because enough people vote for these people to create problems for me. Yeah, it creates problems for me. So that's why I'm talking about it. Master Chief D's Nuts says, damn, bro, you him. The Sigma male skibbity Riz, Ohio. Huh? Yeshua's return asked if Tylenol sued Trump yet. I don't know. What problems were created for me? Man, I do live streams damn near every day talking about that. Yeah. I give you example after example. This is what my channel is about. Who here voted to have foreign military base on U.S. soil? Nobody. You don't vote for that type of stuff. You vote for the people that make that happen. They do that. Yeah. Anyway, the scholar says this dude's a moron. Why would we, the U.S. citizens of the U.S., not discuss and criticize the president of the United States? I don't know, the scholar. You should be able. You should criticize anybody that does anything on your behalf that has anything to do with what you are a part of. Yes, the president is literally, yeah. It doesn't matter if you vote for the president. If you're a U.S. citizen, what the president does affects your life on a daily basis. Good, bad, or indifferent. Doesn't matter if you vote for them or not. They're still able to do the things they're doing. Like, yeah, scholar. Like, yeah, that's why you talk about it. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. Salute to y'all. Thank you guys for coming through. Much love. Like, share, subscribe, and let's keep marching forward toward freedom and truth. Peace. So, but before I go, freedomsmarch80@gmail.com. If you guys have anything you want me to discuss, anything that you have an issue with, anything you want to present to me that might oppose what I'm saying, or you have a disagreement and you want to show, look, this is why I disagree. This is what you should talk about. I'll talk about it. Like, I'll talk about one day this young lady, she sent me an email about the Swedish chick that infiltrated the Freedom Flotilla and was supposed to have all this evidence of how it's a scam and it's fake and there's no aid, which it doesn't prove any of that. But, maybe I'll share it one day just to see what you guys, see what she sent, right? Because I wanted to give it a fair shot. I wanted to look at it and take heed. I've got emails before from people. So freedomsmarch80@gmail.com. Salute to Real Eyes, Sunshine, all you guys. I'm out for real this time. Thank you guys for coming through. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate you guys. So let's keep having these conversations, even if we don't agree. Even if y'all want to have a gotcha moment, it's all good. You guys can have that. You know what I'm saying? However you want it. It is what it is. All right. Salute to y'all. Much love, like, share, subscribe, and let's keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.